Hi guys, my name is Ellen and today we're going to be doing a part 3 of a collective fragrance haul. I have sold, decluttered, and finished all the fragrances that I used to have in my collection, and I'm basically just starting a whole new, bigger, badder collection from scratch and just kind of putting out haul videos as I gather like 4 fragrances or so at a time. Pretty straightforward. I'm just going to talk about the fragrances. All of them I have either smelled or worn already, so these are not like first impressions, so I can give you a little bit of feedback on them. But yeah, I think that is it. If you like all things beauty, makeup, fragrance, you definitely like fragrance or else you wouldn't be here, then please think about subscribing down below. That would be amazing. I'm sorry that this video is going up a few days later than it was supposed to. I actually filmed parts 2 and 3 together, but when I had uploaded part 2 and I was kind of clearing out some of the footage that I had already used, I accidentally deleted all the footage, like the part 3 included. So I basically just have to refilm the part 3 that I already did, if that makes sense. So my bad, that was on me, very stupid, but we're here now, so that's what matters. So first off, this is in no particular order, but we have Paco Rabanne's Olympea Onyx. So it comes in this really fancy little tin, and this, from what I understood online, is the exact same juice, the exact same scent as the original Olympea. It's just Onyx because it's like a limited edition 2020 collector's bottle. So the original Olympea has, I think, like clear hardware, like the cap and the kind of designs on the side are all clear, whereas Onyx has the rose gold with like the black onyx on it. I will show you when I take the bottle out, but it is the same scent as Olympea. When you pull it out, it looks like this. I actually really like this bottle. So this one is an EDP, and I think it's like 2.5 fluid ounces if I'm not mistaken. This was the only size they had available, but maybe that's just because this is like the collector's bottle. They might just have the one size. But this is a really beautiful fragrance. I am very pleased with this one so far. I've only actually worn it once for like a full day, but it was really gorgeous, and it has really nice stain power as well. It does become a skin scent after, like, I don't know, I'd say 4 hours-ish, maybe like 3-4 hours. It kind of fades a little bit more into a skin scent, but it stays on your clothes and as a skin scent for like 9 hours on the skin. Like, it has really good longevity as a skin scent. Obviously, if you want it to protect a little bit more, you can always reapply it, but ooh, it's really pretty. It basically kind of smells like a slightly floral, vanilla, salty fragrance. Like, you can tell that the vanilla has like a little bit of a saltiness to it, and it has almost a little bit of a marine quality as well. And even though it is such a vanilla forward fragrance, I think this is a gorgeous one for summer, like summer nights or cooler days in summer, where it just adds a little bit more depth with the vanilla, and it's a little bit more sexy, but all of the saltiness and the marine kind of quality that it has in here makes it really nice for summer, because it kind of gives that vibe of like sweaty, salty skin, or like skin when you've been at the beach and like the salt water, and you know, from swimming, you just have like a little kind of saltiness on your skin. This fragrance might be a little bit better for like mild warm days, not like super hot days, since it is quite vanilla forward, but like summer nights, this will be just absolutely gorgeous. Like, I don't know, going to dinner, or I don't know, anything at night in the summer, this is just like, it's the best of both worlds. You have that really beautiful deep sensual vanilla, but you also have the like the florals and the kind of saltiness in this as well. So I will read you the notes. At the top you have water jasmine, ginger, and green mandarin, and then in the mid you have vanilla and salt, and then at the base you have ambergris, cashmere wood, and sandalwood. So the sandalwood definitely adds a really nice kind of creaminess to this fragrance as well, and ambergris, if you don't know, kind of adds even more saltiness. It adds a salty kind of marine accord to fragrances. Really pretty. I'm very excited to wear this one more often. So that is Paco Rabanne's Olympea Onyx. So next we have another fragrance that is just pure summer in a bottle. Like this, nothing gets more summery than this fragrance, and this is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Love is Love. So I think Love is Love was the spring 2020 flanker. If I'm understanding correctly, every spring Light Blue comes out with like a new flanker, and as crazy as it might sound, I have never owned Light Blue or any of its flankers ever in my entire life. I don't know how, but I just never have. I think maybe because more pure citrus fragrances are not really my jam. Citrus fragrances that have like a little bit of something sugary are some of my favorite fragrances in the world, but like more pure citrus, as some of the light blues can be, are not. Like, I usually like to have a little bit of something to cut through the citrus. But the reason why this one stood out to me is because you have the citruses and I think like the Granny Smith apple that's in all of the light blues, but it has added notes of, just get ready, whipped cream and raspberry gelato. Gelato! Yummy, yummy! So on Fragrantica it says raspberry and ice cream, but other people have said that Dolce & Gabbana said it was raspberry gelato, so I'm not sure which one it is. It's either raspberry ice cream and whipped cream or raspberry gelato and whipped cream. Either way, it is gorgeous and I love it so, so, so very much. This particular one is an EDT and this is the 100 ml. When you open it up, it looks like most light blue EDTs. Pretty simple bottle, but you know, cute. So in this fragrance, you could definitely not ever mistake this for being anything other than light blue. Because in this fragrance, the dominant thing that you're smelling is what you smell in all light blues. It's like that very fresh, citrus forward fragrance with like a little bit of a juicy kind of fruitiness added in, but the addition of the kind of sweet notes in here really just sprinkles a little bit of sugar onto the citruses, and it just cuts down any potential of bitterness within the citruses, and it just kind of makes them kind of like a lightly sugared citrus, which is my jam. I love it so much. It's still super bright, super fresh, very citrusy, and it would be just the perfect fragrance to use for the hottest days in the summer. You could even, you know, go jogging outside in super hot weather and this would never be heavy or like irritating on the skin. It is that fresh. For me, this is so unmistakably light blue, but the addition of the sugar in here just makes it so perfect. That little bit of sweetness almost makes it a little bit more feminine, a little bit more fun, but it still is just like pure citrus deliciousness. Really gorgeous. I've smelled the original light blue and I think it's beautiful. I can totally understand why it's a fragrance that's so well loved and been around for so long, but I don't know, love is love. I love it. It is so good. So in this fragrance, you have lemon, Granny Smith apple, and red berries at the top, and then you have raspberry, ice cream, and jasmine in the middle, and then in the base you have whipped cream, cedar, musk, and amber. So as I said, some people say it's actually supposed to be raspberry gelato, but raspberry and ice cream, either way, it's really not too kind of specific. It's not like you can pull like raspberry specifically out of this fragrance, or at least I don't. For me, it's just a little bit more juicy because of the raspberry note, and it's a little bit more sweet, but again, not a heavy sweetness whatsoever. And for me, in terms of like a summer freshie, scent wise, this is perfect, but the con is that this is a like citrus forward EDT. If you know, you know. If you don't, citrus notes are super like volatile. They break down a lot faster. So fragrances that have primarily citruses are ones that are not going to last as long on the skin as other fragrances, or fragrances that have deeper notes that kind of linger a little bit longer. And the fact that this is mostly citrus plus it's an EDT means it's just not going to last on the skin very long. It lasts longer on clothes, but this is going to be something that you're going to have to reapply this during the day. It's not a bad price though. I was able to get this on Fragrance X for around $45. So in reality, it's pretty inexpensive, and I don't mind having to reapply this quite often at that price. So if you like the original light blue, or you're looking for something just super fresh and light and inoffensive and citrusy and perfect for really hot weather, I would highly recommend Love is Love light blue. Okay, so next we're going to talk about a fragrance that is pretty much the opposite of light blue, and this is Jean Paul Gaultier's La Belle. This is the EDP and it is a 50 ml. I know that Jean Paul Gaultier also has La Belle Le Parfum, but this one is also a perfume. I don't know if that one is more of a like extrait quality or if it's just different notes. I'm not sure. I know this one came out first, and this is just the original perfume. So when you open it up, it looks like this. I know some people are probably going to hate this kind of packaging. It's been around. This is like the same kind of packaging that Jean Paul Gaultier has always used, and the kind of silhouette bottles are very iconic. I know this is a more like modern take on his silhouette bottles. The ones since the 90s have always been like the actual silhouettes where they're wearing like lingerie, which I think are super cute, but this one is like the plain kind of faceted looking glass, and then she's wearing a necklace. So still really, really gorgeous and very true to his like branding. And I love these like soup cans that they come in. I think it's so iconic and so cool. And it's very like, it's so sturdy. You know, nothing can mess up the fragrance inside. And I'm sure this is not a super expensive box to make. I don't know. I really, really love everything about this packaging. So when you take the perfume out, she looks like this. Really, really gorgeous. And then I think you just take this little thing off. I've been putting it back on every time. I'm not sure if you're supposed to, but I don't know. I just put it back on. It's almost like an extra little necklace, like she has a little choker on. So this particular fragrance I know has a pear and vanilla. It's like a very dense, sweet vanilla fragrance. To me, this is a very heavy, like it feels like all the other notes in this fragrance are basically like dripping in some type of liquid vanilla. It is so dense and sweet and delicious. And what I've noticed about this fragrance is that the longer that it's on your skin, the sweeter it gets. So if you're someone who doesn't love sweet fragrances, I don't know if this would be for you. I don't think it would be a safe blind buy. Let's put it like that, because it is sweet and it just gets sweeter. And I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it so very much. I'm going to get so much use out of this in slightly cooler weather, since it is a little bit more of a heavy fragrance. So in here you have pear and bergamot at the top, and then you have floral notes and leather in the mid. And then at the base you have vanilla, vetiver, amber, and musk. Oh my gosh, I love this fragrance so much. This is so gorgeous, so perfect for like, I don't know, cooler autumn weather, even spring weather where you want something that's just super enveloping and deep. That is what this fragrance is. It's very sexy. It's like a date night fragrance. Don't be scared of the fact that there's like leather and vetiver and those kind of notes in here, which a lot of times can be more prominent in like masculine sense. For me, the leather in here is not prominent as a literal leather note. It almost just adds a little bit of an animalic kind of vibe to the fragrance and enhances the musk that you have at the base. And the vetiver just adds that little bit of extra depth at the base that stops this from being cloyingly sweet. It adds like almost a little bit of greenness that kind of mixes with the bergamot, and it kind of cuts through the fragrance. Obviously you have pear at the top too that adds a nice slightly fruity juicy element to the fragrance as well, and all of those are helping kind of lift the very dripping sweet quality that this fragrance has. Not a safe blind buy if you don't like sweet scents, but if you do like a little bit of sweetness in your life, try this one out because it is absolutely gorgeous. Hopefully it will come back in stock, and hopefully the Le Parfum will come back in stock because I really want to try that one as well. And I just love this bottle so much. She is just gorgeous. Look at that booty. Oh my god. I love it when the juice is dark in a fragrance. I think it's like, oh, it's so gorgeous. You just want to like spray it all over you and just feel like super sexy, you know? Okay, so next we have a fragrance that is also probably not the greatest for summertime, but I really wanted to try this out, and this is Maison Christian Dior's Feve Delicieuse. So this particular one is the 40 ml, and it comes in their typical like house line packaging, and this is what the bottle looks like. It has a really nice magnetic cap, which I love. Very simple but very pretty packaging. So this particular fragrance is, everyone and their mother, literally everyone, calls this the best like pure kind of tonka forward fragrance, and it's supposed to be just so sweet and delicious and beautiful but unisex, and it's just supposed to be like one of the best tonka fragrances ever. And I'm not gonna lie, based off of the notes and the way people describe this, I feel like I've received a completely different fragrance, which is very disappointing. I feel like I don't hate this, but I need to continue to use this, and I have to kind of like completely scrub from my mind the way that other people talk about this fragrance and the way that I thought this fragrance was going to be, because when I have what I imagined in my mind and then I have this, they're two opposite things, and so I automatically feel really disappointed. So I think I just need to keep using this and kind of try and learn and appreciate this fragrance for what it is, because it is a really beautiful like high quality fragrance. You can definitely tell that. It's just I do not get that beautiful deep sweet tonka that other people talk about, and I will read you the notes really quick, or I will spray it first actually, just so that we can pretend to smell it together. So one thing while this is drying down is the house line from Dior. It's really weird because in a very small portion of their fragrances they sell this 40 ml size, and these 40 mls are $100. And in most of their fragrances, the smallest size they sell is the 2.5 fluid ounce, which I think is like 125 mil. So it's a super big size, and that's like the smallest size that they sell. And those ones are $250. And the next size up from that, I think is like around 300 mil or something. Like it's a huge bottle. And it's just really weird to me that they sell, like the majority of their scents are only in like two very big bottles, and that they don't just have the option to have a little bit of a smaller size, because I feel like for a lot of people who either just want to pay less or are on a budget or have a lot of fragrances that they want to try and they would rather just have smaller sizes, it makes no sense to not have the smaller option available, you know, because I feel like a lot of people are not going to want to have to pay the super high price tag and get the huge bottle that they're not necessarily going to go through. Very strange. I think it's only like 4 or 5 fragrances out of their whole house line that they sell in this particular size. Anyways, not important, but I really like this cute little size, especially if you want to have, you know, smaller bottles and more variety. So for this fragrance, you know how on Fragrantica they give you the main accords, like what the main accords are that you're smelling predominantly in the fragrance, and in this fragrance they say it is vanilla, sweet, amber, warm, spicy, and then aromatic, caramel, woody, lavender, balsamic, chocolate. So that just sounds like check, delicious. And in here the top notes are lavender, mint, Calabrian bergamot, and the mid you have cherry, freesia, and jasmine, and then at the base, this is where I was like, oh yes, you have tonka bean, Madagascar vanilla, caramel, dark chocolate, benzoin, leather, coconut, sandalwood, and cedar. Oh my gosh, if you like gourmand fragrances, those base notes and the cherry too just sound like literal perfection. And the way, as I said, everyone describes this fragrance as being the most delicious thing to ever exist, I was expecting something totally different. For me, this fragrance, all I get is like the aromatic notes in here. When I spray it on, they are just these like bright, sharp aromatic notes, and a lot of people say that they get those notes, but then, you know, after it dries down, maybe after an hour or a couple hours and it completely settles on the skin, they get that deep, delicious, you know, vanilla kind of vibe to the fragrance. For me, I get the sharp, bright, aromatic notes the entire time. I literally sprayed this just in one spot on my arm and I had it on for the entire day. I didn't retouch up the fragrance or anything like that, and the whole day that is all I could smell was basically the like lavender and the bergamot and the mint and maybe some of the florals mixing together, but not really too much of the florals. It's mostly the mint, lavender, and bergamot, and it's almost giving me like a male like fougere barbershop type of vibe to the fragrance. Like, not, that is not the way that this is described, and it's so weird that I'm not getting like the dry down on this fragrance. I don't know, it feels, as I said, like I'm getting a totally different fragrance to what other people are getting, which is so sad. And it's not a bad fragrance at all. Like, what I'm getting is not at all like, oh, I hate it. It's just not tonka. You know, it's not like this delicious gourmand, sweet, deep, heavy, delicious tonka. It's not at all what I'm getting. I don't dislike this. I think it's just, if you put this in a different bottle and called it something else, I would have a totally different opinion of it. I'm gonna continue to wear this, and I'm just gonna try and keep like developing thoughts on this for what it is as opposed to what I expected it to be, you know. And maybe it's going to be one of those fragrances that settles, so after I've had it a couple months it will start to get a little bit deeper and maybe a little bit sweeter. I've had fragrances like that where they just take a little bit of time on the shelf to really come into their own. So hopefully this fragrance does that, because I really would like more of the notes that are described. I will keep you guys updated with that fragrance. But those are all of the fragrances today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe down below, and please tell me what your current summer favorite fragrances are, or what are just some summer fragrances in general that you really love, even if you don't have them right now. What are some fragrances that you want to pick up? Are there new releases that you want to get? Just tell me it all down below. I'm always here to reply. So yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Bye!